Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rick Tex. I'm the parasite of the show you're listening to, Text Messages Resurrected. So today we wanted to talk about the lymphatic system. Now, the lymphatic system essentially eradicates our body of infections, pathogens, bacteria, viruses. Things just typically don't belong there. It also gets rid of waste material. Everybody knows what blood is. You got the blood circulatory system, just millions of veins, capillaries, arteries that go in every which direction inside the body, touch about every square millimeter, every square inch of it. So the lymphatic system, it is a series of branches and vessels, just like the blood, except it transmits clear fluid and it transmits it out of the body, and it doesn't work in conjunction with the heart. It works from muscle contractions. So when you use your muscle to lift your arms, for example, your body is taking nutrients from the blood, and then the muscle will use that, or the tendons, fibers, everything, bones, everything, and then they'll expel some of the waste that won't go back into the blood into the lymphatic system. If it's bigger proteins or anything like that. The lymphatic system is part of the immune system. It also, like we said earlier, fights the viruses. So it maintains the fluid balance, and it also plays a role in absorbing the fats and the fat-soluble vitamins. So it's a network of vessels. It actually passes through pretty much all tissues inside the body. Now, a lot of people may not even realize that there is a lymphatic system. That there is about 600 lymph nodes in your body, and they swell in response to infections. So when you get sick and you feel that, you might think it's inflammation or some pressure points or zones of high pressure. That's usually your lymph nodes swelling up, because they're receiving tons of white blood cells from your bloodstream that's created in liver, kidneys, wherever. And then the white blood cells are activated and they turn into antigens, and then they go after the pathogens and viruses and bacteria, and then they kill them off, send them back in the nodes, and then they send them out of the body through the urine or the fecal matter. So the small vessels are called lacteals. So that they're connected to some of them are connected to the small intestine, and then they can enable the fat and the fat nutrients from the gut to flow into them. And the valves, just like the blood circulatory system, the valves inside the lymphatic system allow flow in only one direction. So it's like if you're pushing water through a valve and it opens, and then if the pressure tries to come back, the vacuum is going to close the valve so the water can't come back. It's just fluid transfer. And that's how the valves work inside the lymphatic system as well. So there's four major parts of the lymphatic system: the tonsils, spleen, the thymus gland, and the adenoids. And there's also lymphatic tissue on the the thymus gland is also lymphatic tissue. So glands are part of the endocrine system, but it's also connected with the lymphatic system as well. So the tonsils are in the back of the mouth, and they produce the lymphocytes, which are used to it. That's probably the absolute first line of defense against the pathogens and the bacteria that you may consume. As soon as you consume in your mouth, your body can quickly identify it, and then your tonsils can begin to create the white blood cells and the lymphocytes. White blood cells are lymphocytes. So they create them, just begin attacking those pathogens, to activate them, to phagocytose them, to cover them up, and to neutralize them. So the thymus gland, which is the lymphatic organ and an endocrine gland, it secretes hormones, and then it produces mature and differentiates the T cells. There's T and B cells according to the lymph nodes. So the three main the adenoids, they're found distributed around in the body too. But the three main functions of the lymphatic system is fluid balance. It returns fluid and protein from tissues that cannot be returned through the blood vessels. Without the lymphatic system, the tissues would swell immensely, your blood volume would be lost, and the pressure would be increased. So about 10% of your blood that goes into your tissues is drained back by the lymphocytes. Now, another main function that it does is absorption. So most fats are absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract and taken up in the gut membrane and the small intestines that's specifically adapted by the lymphatic system. It forms part of these villi, which are basically little fingers that reach into the small intestines, and then they'll interfere with the nutrients that are taken up directly. And then the lacteal absorbs the fat and the fat-soluble vitamins, and it turns it into the chyle, which is the watery, milky liquid fluid that is the lymphocytes. And then the nutrients can directly, well, the nutrients are also indirectly, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. The nutrients are delivered directly in when they reach the venous blood circulation. So the first function is the fluid balance. The second function, the absorption of fats and the fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin K, niacin. And then the immune system, which is used to attack foreign invaders. The immune system usually, the first three lines of defense are the skin, stomach acid, which is hydrochloric acid inside your stomach that you produce anytime you eat a meal, and then the bacteria in the body, the gut microbiotics inside your small intestines, large intestines. And then the lymphatic system produces the white blood cells, the T and B cells. So these cells go into all your nodes, and then to those nodes they activate, and then they turn into the antibodies, and then they seek out all the antigens, which are also known as the bacteria, the bad bacteria, and the foreign particles inside the lymph fluid, and they all essentially cover up those bacteria, and they also, you know, so that they can become eradicated, and then they're identified and signaled for destruction. So these lymph nodes also have memory to defend against a particular antigen. So that's the idea behind the vaccination. When you're vaccinated with a dead, strain, docile, dormant virus or bacteria, your body builds up those lymphocytes, and then when it builds up to a point where it can efficiently attack the foreign invaders, when a living foreign substance is introduced, your body already has mounted a defense. It'd be like if it's just adaptive nature, the progressive adaptive nature of the human body. Say, for example, there's snow on your roof. So there's about 5 inches of snow, not a big deal. Then there's 10 inches of snow. So it's still not a big deal. But if there's 30 inches of snow, chances are pretty good your roof would collapse. And if there's only 5 inches of snow, you can go ahead and get the right tools, the shovel, the ladder, and everything. You can go buy them from Menards and then shovel the snow off. And then when there's 10 inches, you can go up there and shovel it again. When there's 30, you can go up there and shovel it again. Now, if 30 inches of snow came right away and you didn't have the proper tools, the ladder, the shovel to go up there and take it off your roof, then there's a pretty good chance your roof would collapse because you would not be prepared for the the invasion of the snow. So that's basically that's the idea behind immunization. The immune system is the lymphatic system. So the lymph nodes swell, and as we said before, they swell in opposition to infection. And the brain is some recent developments have also illustrated that the brain has lymphatic vessels as well. So that's very, very nascent stages in those researches. But just to sum it up here, the lymphatic system is a series of vessels, sort of like the blood system. Now, a lot of people don't really understand the lymphatic system, and I don't really understand it a whole lot either. Just don't really understand it enough to describe it in a way that makes crystal clear sense. But essentially, it does three things. Balances the fluid. When the blood goes to your tissues, the waste material, some of it goes out through the lymph nodes. And it also absorbs the fat and the fat-soluble vitamins. And it also attacks pathogens and antigens. So that's basically the lymphatic system in a nutshell. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back momentarily to speak about one of the organs that works in conjunction with the lymphatic system. So thank you very much.